This is going to be a video on the Masters Lounge number 2. This is a Japanese hosted event, and that for me it started at 11 p.m. so I was only able to join half the amount of GPs just because it got too late for me. But it was still a really fun event, and I really look forward to reviewing this. It was so late at night, maybe I even forgot what happened. So starting here off in night, I use Falcon just because I actually do like using Falcon, even though it's a meme. It's clearly not the best choice in these type of lobbies. For the most part, you know, Goose is always just gonna be the best because it's a stacked lobby. But there's some circumstantial stuff where other machines could be viable. And Mute City, my nemesis in these events, which has ranked me out several times. Luckily, with being around 70 players, that's if you do rank out or die in Mute City, it's all on you. And maybe, so I, of course, was trying to get a first lap Skyway, which would have been right there. So I'm like way behind the Skyway points. And this is unfortunately the worst like time you could get it. Now you just have to wait around to use it on the second bend, which really isn't that bad. But it's just so much easier to play Mute City when you get it. But snag the gray if I'm back there. I chose to boost when I was landed just because I have the energy and there's a long refiller on Mute City. And this is something I was kind of rethinking just after it happens. Just like, do I get the Skyway here or later? Luckily I was able to pick a lucky gray there. But I chose kind of to stay in the pack, and now I'm not getting the most optimal Skyway. So the third lap Skyway and not getting that zipper there is going to kind of put me behind in the fourth lap, where now everyone's going to Skyway past me. Some unfortunate gray pushing there, so that was bad. And now here comes all the Skyways. And then just pushing it until 22nd place. It's not that bad. It's really, I mean, really though, you want to get top 10 ideally, and top 15 still pretty good on Mute City. And I kind of like outside the boundaries of that, and you're losing a lot of points. So you just get 156 points. So, you know, that's a big deficit to start off with. So if I could just play it a little more optimal, I do think pushing it for the fourth lap Skyway instead probably would have been the play. But that's how it goes, and 2 KOs is fine with me. That's also what I was going for. Night really scares me, especially with Falcon. Like default energy, I'm not sure in this lobby I could survive with Falcon, so I was a lot more comfortable now. And Big Blue is kind of one of my hardest courses with Falcon. Like, I really hate Falcon on this course. It's just too dense. It's like this course and like a Port Town 1 where it's just like a dense pack and you get smothered as Falcon. It just causes a lot of trouble. I'm swerving around a bit, kind of, you know, being the 30th spot. So pretty good positioning. And pretty solid netcode too. Like, I'm getting back bumps instead of being front bumps. So that's why I'm not boosting. It was like surprising really that I was able to just play in the pack and not use all my boosts. Sometimes on Big Blue, like, you just get sent back in the negative state from the front bumps, and like you use all of your energy just to, like, you know, get out of that cycle of being knocked backwards. That was unfortunate, missing that gray there. Let's costly. And I'm getting pushed back a little too much. I don't like my positioning. And I'm kind of uncertain about this play as well. I went for that Skyway because I want to drop back in the pack now. Now I'm getting beat up by the pack, so I don't know. It was I could have either gone more forward and used the ideal Skyway, and then I wouldn't have to play forward from there, or go here and get pick up a third Skyway. Unfortunately, I couldn't farm, and I boosted right past that gold, which was devastating. So that's on me. Like, those are the things, like, you should know. Unfortunately, like, I just don't study the gold positions. Like, if you know gold drops in that lap, the 4th race, like, that would have been race changing. But instead, like, I barely survived there in power down state. And really, if there was some, like, netcode shenanigans, I really could have, been killed on the spot, but luckily I survived. So in the end, I'm happy I survived, but I would consider that a lot of mistakes I made that race. And sometimes you're just not in the right spot at the right time, especially for those grays, and who actually studies where the gold drops? I mean, you should, but that knowledge is useful. And another tough course for Falcon, Sand Ocean. In this one, I don't really have a set strategy. I kind of just, like, first lap dictates pretty much what I'm going to do next. Ideally, I get a first lap Skyway. I mean, you really need it. Like, you can rank out first lap on this course pretty easy. It's pretty good spark production. Unfortunately, no back bumps there. I tried to get some, but so I didn't couldn't conserve my energy as much as I wanted to. But got the good Skyway. Now, I even had to boost here. You can see, like, that wasn't like a bad first lap. I got the good Skyway and I still almost ranked out. So that's how close it gets. And that time I got my back bumps. And what it seems like is I'm going to need a Skyway every lap. I can't get out of this cycle. And luckily that time, the gold, I was able to hit it. So otherwise I'm in rank out right now. A little late on the Skyway launch, missed a zipper. Look how close that is. I had to boost into the refiller because it got too close to call. And I actually braked there to hit the gold, but the gold's kind of stalling. It's really annoying when it does that. And luckily there's some sparks to pick up. And I get the extension past the corner, which was really helpful. So that was a tough race. I didn't really do too much wrong. I just couldn't break out of the pack. It's just really hard to do. Like, you need a really optimal Skyway to get out in front, so you can just be out in the clear. And otherwise, you're stuck in that cycle of needing a Skyway every lap, or you rank out. Now finally, Falcon track here. one of the few tracks in the game where Falcon is good. And in a really good lobby like this, ideally I'm going to go for 2 skyways. Unless like I get some perfect skyway lap 1 that I can front run out of. People were kind of straggling behind, so I have to swerve around more. And I didn't get the first skyway spot, so I have to burn energy and use the skyway later. Missing the zipper extension there. So in this position, I have to go for another skyway. Still cutting it kind of close, and just had to use the skyway, and it's good enough to get out of the pack. Not a perfect one, but you can see, you know, just getting it was enough to get clear of the pack. At the end here, you can see the Falcon boost versus the Goose boost. Like, it's pretty ridiculous that it's pretty much like a 1-for-1. You really can't tell which one's faster. It's pretty absurd that like Falcon's main power is like supposed to be having the fastest boost, and you can't even tell if it's faster than Goose. So now I'm in 10th place, and I am the only Falcon that made it to the finale. So, even though it seemed like a struggle every single race, it just shows how hard this lobby is. I was contemplating whether I should front run this or skyway. Obviously, at this point, you should know I'm going for the skyway. If I started more up front, I definitely would have front ran it though. And that spawns super far back there, which is useful. And I was taking the side of the mines there. It's just because like, you just get plowed. Especially with Falcon, if you take a hit, you're probably getting launched into the mine, and who knows what could happen. Like, you can hit the mine, then like go into the jump pad and get flung off the course. It's just, you know, I prefer going on the side there. So unfortunately I missed the jump pad there and had to burn another boost. And now I'm just I'm gonna walk to the finish line. No taking unnecessary risks. So I'm content with taking 11th there. I mean, it wasn't a perfect finale race. And, with all these good people, it's, it's really close. So I'll just, I guess mine, just call it average. And just surviving with Falcon was an accomplishment, a night with Falcon here. And you see how low the points are because of how good these lobbies are. And, it's actually really hard to get above 900 points. Now we can move on to the next GP. Now let's head off into Queen League. And for Mute City 2, it's pretty much the same with every Mute City. The first lap Skyway is super strong in those because then you could kind of just play non-boosting and then slowly collect your second Skyway. So let's see if I can pull that off. So far, really good spark production. But misses the Skyway launch. So, and I missed the zipper there. So even though I got a first lap Skyway, it's just not an optimal one, and I'm pretty far behind. And unfortunately what this does is it makes me get more sparks than I want. And then of course you're getting chip damage and just bad blockage like that stuff. So if you get put back in these positions, the game just becomes harder. And that's one of the things about RTS and Skyways. So the optimal pathing and getting an early Skyway, you avoid so much of the hazards. It just makes the game so much easier. And now I'm getting a Skyway at a really bad point again. I tried fishing for back bumps, but couldn't get it. A bad launch there, missed the zipper. So I probably should have even held that. Luckily I got this extension, so it gives me at least something, but the Skyway over the circle is just so much better. Some desperation for some grays. And it was just kind of a race where nothing went how I wanted. That was a really bad outcome. 56th place. Just nothing was optimal. And just by a little bit too. So I almost got the first lap Skyway, but missed it by a few sparks. And that changes everything. I think some bots were trolling us. They just take forever to finish sometimes. And you can see it just having a bad race. There's, a bunch of other. The lobby is just full of good players, and anyone who gets stuck into a bad situation where you got to sink like I did, you just, you have a bad race. Now, of course, I find really difficult when I'm not Goose. It's just because of the density is trying to get these ideal Skyways here and not get chipped down and just, smashed into the barriers. I'm intentionally delaying it, trying to get in the pack to get sparks. You see people are skywaying already, and look at my skyway compared to that. So I was at like 30% and they were already skywaying. So you can see the difference, and for the most part that's just like a goose advantage. You just get like sparks so much easier than the other machines. And the pack is so dense. It wasn't like I was even that far behind, it's just the density. So no extension there. Desperation for a gray, but nothing. And that's a decent sky when you get the zipper. Unfortunately, it's like I barely got it, so I didn't get the extension, but you need the first place to be slightly ahead to even get that zipper. So pretty, you know, mid race there, 31. And I really didn't like do anything that bad, as I just like couldn't get sparks early, and that dictates the rest of the race. So, and with Falcon, I'm just lucky I didn't like take a race ending hit, like getting knocked into, you know, a red or something, and just like put in a situation where I would die. So getting out of Port Town 1, I guess, is enough to be happy about. Now this course plays out a little bit differently when it's this stacked. So in a lot of cases like this, you actually need 2 skyways. And luckily this time I'm in getting my sparks, so I should be able to get a first lap skyway here. And I'm just launching it there, because if you wait to use the optimal skyway there, not only won't it be optimal because, you know, the leader's not far ahead, is then you might put yourself in the position of, like, you might not get back in the pack to get sparks again, and then you will probably rank out. And I had to bail there. The jumps are just hard with Falcon. You get pushed around so much. And a rank out scare. So I had to boost into the refiller there. So really tough race. Everyone's just on top of each other there. And luckily sometimes those grays are just available. And look at the skyway extension. I had a long bar there, so the maximum extension. So that was a pretty intense race. I mean, everyone was just like on top of each other the entire race, getting pushed around on the jumps, barely not getting ranked out. And it's still only 16th, and I thought I played really well that time. And it is possible still to use the one skyway strategy, but as you can see there, the 2 works. I just need to be a little farther ahead on the second skyway, so I could have been, you know, in position to make it more up the front, but it's a very doable strategy. Either way you could go. So on White Land 1, it kind of has a similar RTS as Red Canyon 1. There's a 1 Skyway strategy and a 2 Skyway strategy. So I'm going to go on the side of the mines here, which means I'm going for the 2 Skyway strategy and trying to pick up as much sparks early on as possible inside the pack here. And that'd be like you're going for like a first and third. And with Falcon, maybe it was a stupid decision to try to go for a first, because look at my sparks. I definitely did not get it on time. You can see other people did. And you can rank out first lap. So I had to use extra boost, and maybe netcode saved me. Like, that was a very close call, maybe lucky. And now the problem is, I don't think I can get a second Skyway. So I'm pretty much getting no sparks at all, so I'm gonna have to play this out. And so that was kind of an RTS disaster. I stalled in the beginning, went long routes around the mines, and then ended up not getting the sparks that I needed. So for whatever reason, I wasn't in a position to get the sparks, and you can easily rank out because of that. I mean, it kind of looks like I did. We'll have to go investigate that after the GP. We'll go look back at that race and see how close it actually was. Now you kind of feel safe, like you made it, you're in the finale. And I'm in the first position with 1 KO. Maybe I should front run, but I decided not to. It's actually a good front run course. If I had 2 or 3, definitely 3, I would have for sure front ran. But, I mean, I was just trying to play the standard way this time. And I actually picked up enough sparks already where I don't have to wait for the gold. So I just decided to use it immediately and get out of there. And you can see here, everything after this point is wasted Skyway. So if I would have got the Skyway sooner, I could have used it sooner. It's hard to measure that too. Like, you really need to know your first place position to know when you how far that Skyway could be for that extension. So I'm fine with just using it and get out of the pack. and 6th place, so pretty decent considering I didn't get an optimal Skyway, and the front runners are most likely going to take it. And if Edward's in the lobby, you know, master of Whiteland 2. So, I mean, it kind of just felt like survival again. I had some decent races. You know, just, I didn't have any breakaways, which is the problem. Every single time, it was just like I was in survival mode because I wasn't getting optimal Skyways. And, you know, Red Canyon 1, I did have a good first Skyway. I just should have been more ahead for the second Skyway. Then you can actually cut into, you know, battle for first place in there, but I just couldn't quite get there. But overall, you know, survival, so I'm pretty satisfied. Going back to Whiteland 1, see what my position is. It looks like I was in 36th place. 36. 36 crossing a line. So, you know, like whatever it is in netcode and positioning is enough for someone else could have been in a different position on their screen, and I got lucky and was able to continue on with the race. That's pretty much it. Sometimes it's just netcode luck. Going on to King League, and this is actually probably my second favorite GP with Falcon. The Ace would be first, then King would be second. I think it just plays well overall, and it does have Deathwind 2, which is a Falcon course. And it's really not bad at Mute City 3 either. Like the refiller on Mute City 3 is good for Falcon, and I like the mobility of Falcon on Firefield. That helps a lot. And Red Canyon 2 is kind of just, you can do well with it, but I don't, it's not ideal, but it's not like that bad. So overall, Falcon's a pretty good choice. And the same strategy as always, hoping for the first lap Skyway. Now I'm kind of getting buried. I didn't like that at all. And I'm left behind, so I at least got the Skyway to get out of there, but now I'm in the situation where I'm in the pack, and I'm going to get the Skyway again too early. And a lucky grid again, so I was... A few times in these GPs I've gotten some lucky KOs, which has helped. You can see I have no choice but to get a third lap Skyway. It's at least going to be in a good position. But this definitely won't be enough to front run. I'll do my best. Let's see how it goes though. Now I'm just gonna get piled on right here. So I was short a little bit of energy, and I held my boost there, and I lost a lot of places. I was just for safety, and that's how quick you just drop places. It seemed like I should have been finishing well there, but, you know, when everyone finishes strong and you don't, like, you just get left behind. You know, that's how close it is. And 54s is like super fast. That's just like when everything goes perfect. And ideally for Deathwind 2 is I get a Skyway first lap and use it at the end. See if I can pull that off. Because I really don't want to have to get back in the pack for a second Skyway. I'm a little too far up front, so I'm not going to get the ideal sparks, unfortunately. So this will be a delayed Skyway. And then, really bad there, missing that zipper. And this throws off the entire race. So now it's like you're under damage control. And let's see what I can do here. Unfortunately, that gray got stolen. And I'm just going to launch my Skyway, because I need to get back in the pack for a second one. And somehow I missed that zipper. Like, I don't know. Sometimes, like, you get on the Skyway and you don't pay attention. You like, miss a zipper. So that was an unforced error for no reason. And I really don't like being in the pack again with Falcon. I am going to hold this Skyway to the good launch point. And luckily I could get on the Skyway, even if getting knocked off the zipper wasn't that big of a deal because, you know, he's going through the Skyway. I contemplated boosting on the landing, but I just decided to play safe. And this was kind of one of those races, like, you know, you have the machine for the track and it just doesn't go well. Like, when you get these opportunities, like Deathwind 2, like, Falcon is supposed to be your track to succeed and then you know, just throw it away. So I was a bit disappointing. And Natoa up there with a perfect GP so far. So hopefully we get to see his perspective at some point. That Port Town 2 could go a lot of ways. Obviously, once again, it's a first lap Skyway you want. And for this track, I really think it's a first, second, and fourth with this amount of good players. At least with Falcon and Goose, that's what I would do. It just, you know, it's depends on what's happening, but a lot of times when it's that dense, that will be a really good strategy to use. And I even held my boost there because I thought I was in good position, and then you save your energy. But I'm just not getting the sparks I thought I would get, so now I'm in danger of first lap rank out. Just launching it as soon as I get it. And the problem with this too is everyone's getting sparks again when I wasn't. So I'm in a really bad position here. I'm using boost at bad times. I'm not in the pack early enough to get Skyways. So it's just desperation for any spark there is. And luckily finding that gold. So I got bailed out. Now I go back in the pack again. So how am I going to get out of this third lap? scary red there. So no third lap Skyway. And a desperation boost, so I'm gonna have no energy this lap. And it's like I said, it was a first, second, and fourth lap Skyway, but just out of sync. Like they weren't clean. So I'm not in a position I was, and this is more of just survival mode. So it was just a case of not getting my sparks on time and able to survive. You know, I guess you could just be happy you survived it all at that point, because it's so easy to rank out if you're out of sync on this track. Here we go for Red Canyon 2. So I will once again be going for early Skyway. It's a little more risky on this start. The chicane mine start, it's harder to pick up early sparks, but Red Canyon 2 can still generate a lot of sparks. The beginning stretch of Red Canyon 2 sometimes will just be like a flood of them. So I'm already behind on sparks, so it's a little worrisome. For some reason, people seem a little more spaced out than they should be, and I'm just not getting sparks. I don't even think like I was really that much out of position. Maybe I should have been ahead a little bit. And there's people getting Skyways somehow, so other people were getting the first lap Skyway. And now you can see what it did. Like, I barely survived that lap, and I had to use more energy than I wanted, and I really don't want to have to be using my Skyway here, but I will. It's not that bad. And that screwed me pretty bad. So a bumper push, and you know, I lost more energy than I should and some time. I'm really just not picking up the sparks. I don't know what's going on in this race and why the spark feed is so low. Like on a dense pack like this, it should be a higher rate of sparks coming. Unfortunately, couldn't get that gold there. Still made it out though. But here I missed the extension, and that is bad news. So that really would have carried me. And now I'm going to deal with all these people getting their fourth lap Skyways. And there it is. And at this point, I just hope people crash out because there's no hope. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. It was just kind of... I didn't get to play the way I wanted to. The sparks weren't there and it threw me off. And I sandbagged the beginning, and that's a loss of time for no reason then at that point. So I think I might actually bail on that strategy. I don't like it. It's too risky. I think I might start kind of quasi front running Red Canyon 2 and go for the second and fourth lap Skyway. This one's cost me rank outs too many times. And let's just fast forward to see who won this event. So let's see the race here for Firefield. So a nice sub 250 by Master A1. Yeah, I really didn't like how King went. That was kind of a bust GP there. Not one race went how I wanted. Misa wins that one. Tied for first place. And it's all the same people. So, just unfortunately, that one went in the garbage, and now I get to play Ace next, which is a good Falcon one. And here we go. Ace League with Falcon. And so this is what I was looking forward to. Made sure to stay up for Ace. And with Falcon, I'm going to need one Skyway. I really think in lobbies like this, unless you get like the absolute most perfect start with Fox, you should be going for a Skyway. And I got back bump there, so I'm actually going to start the race in first place, which is actually not what I even wanted. So with Falcon, you had the reserve boost at some point, and you can't boost as frequently. Like, you can't do the boost to the side of the jump pads, and you have to hold the boost on one of the laps on that section there. Which is why the Skyway is very useful. So unfortunately, I got too far ahead. I should have sandbagged more because pretty much no sparks at all first lap. And this is where it gets a little worrisome, because if I don't get a Skyway at all, it'll be, you know, just a blown race. I was hoping to pick up some sparks there, but this didn't happen. So this is really where I wanted my Skyway. You can see I just failed at getting it. Right here would have been the launch point. And, you know, I was maybe like 10 sparks off. And unfortunately, now, it's not the, like, the worst Skyway. It's just not optimal at all. Like, you Skyway here, you know, because you're just Skywaying over zippers. That's not smart. So, luckily I got that last zipper. And the only, I guess, like, good thing about it is, like, you skip the dirt in the fourth lap red hazard, so and you get the, you know, the satisfaction of not having to make a dangerous cut at the end, but it would, to get the Skyway, you need the Skyway earlier, not like the end of the fourth lap there. That's, I guess, my best Mute City, even though I did, my RTS kind of failed. We prevented the geese from placing atop. You know, that's part of the reason why they don't like this GP is if you have a bunch of good players who are Fox and Falcons, is you could push the geese down on Mute City and make them score low. But Goose isn't necessarily even bad at this course. You know, the Fox and Falcon are just better. This can kind of be a scary course. You could get pushed around a lot with Falcon here, and get like pushed into the lava and the mines. I'd like to do a 2 Skyway one here. There's a lot of opportunity for sparks and even grays. Like there, I'm just getting hammered. I had to boost out of there. Like there was no way. I'm just, it's way too risky not to be in a boost state there. Basically, if you're not Goose, like you will get blasted into the mines and the lava. And that was a good repositioning Skyway. And let's see if I can get the extension now. There goes first place, so I could get the extension. Unfortunate badness in the zipper there. It's scaring me that I won't get the extension, but it's definitely enough. Unfortunately, those reds kind of blocked optimal pathing. And here I boosted. My boost got me a little wild. Like I didn't hit the red. My boost lasted too long. It was kind of just going back to those reds. Because I couldn't boost earlier on the first boost, it caused my second boost to be at a longer spot than I liked. So, you know, that boosting into that last section there can be super dangerous because your boost won't end in time to make the cut. Then you have to brake. And then a lot of times the person behind you then will smash into you anyways, and you'll get, you know, face planted, and, you know, a lot of bad stuff can happen. So I really don't like how I ended up playing that situation. That was a driving mistake there. In Big Blue 2, I've been kind of working on my strategies here. At least I could say I'm working on my RTS here, but it can be really difficult. I tried just going for ideally 2 Skyways and just make them 2 good Skyways. And I could have tried going for the double jump one, but this one's just fine. If you get that zipper there, you can make it to that zipper. It's basically the same thing as the double jump, cuts this a little better. So this is the exact position I want to be in. You get up front here, and then you can slowly build up your next Skyway. And since I got my Skyway, same launch point, and that will get me all the way into first place, which is really good for the 4th lap because it has a really bad bumper pattern coming up here. So if you get caught in that when it's at this corner here, you basically can't get around it. It's caused me some bad crash outs, so I like getting the Skyway there, not having to deal with it. So overall, that was a pretty solid race. 7th place. And that's pretty hard to do. It feels like at the end there, you know the geese are coming in full force. They're boosting like 60 times, and then they have Skyways, and they're coming in hard. So that 4th lap, the last sections, luckily I was able to get ahead enough where I didn't get buried by them. The Sandstorm 2, I've been kind of contemplating the strategies for this one as well. I ran into the Red Canyon 2 problem here. So my first lap Skyways, like people say, you know, just get the, you know, sandbagging first lap Skyway. I think it's really hard to get. And like then you watch some other replays and people like get it like before even the first turn. I'm like, how did you do that? Like that's not happening to me like ever. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to get ahead more. And now let's do a a delayed skyway. So you don't have to worry about a first lap rank out. I got behind a little more than I wanted to. I'm kind of dealing with the crowd more than I like. Ideally, I could have waited to get a third lap skyway, but this is definitely user or rank out in this situation. And the unfortunate thing is, in a dense lobby like this, first place wasn't far enough ahead for me to get the good extension, and now I'm kind of just in survival mode. It's one skyway is good, especially if it's an optimal one, so that was kind of like just a decent skyway, and now I'm just going to have to play it out with a no skyway in fourth lap. And luckily my driving was really precise and I avoided all the hazards. And then, it seems like I'm ahead and safe, but like if you hit a gray there and if I would have like, ricocheted off the gray into the wall, I would have ranked out. So that was just, I was able to clinch that fourth lap without having the skyway and not even having one optimal skyway. So it was just good driving on that one. Now we head into the final race, Silence 2. And this one isn't so safe. So I'm starting the very back, so I'm actually going to play as safe as possible and go for the skyway. Trying to pick up as much sparks even during this part of the race. And luckily I was able to get some solid hits on the gold, so I can now just run it. Not even doing the quad jump. Bumper blocking it. Luckily I wasn't crashed out there because Angela came flying in and who knows what that could have caused. So now I have a ton of energy and basically I just have to avoid any kind of mishaps here. So taking it safe. And got 6th place, so pretty good finish, and you have to front run to win on Silence 2, so I just wanted to finish it, and I knew based on my placing, now I could place pretty high on the GP overall, and all my rivals finished behind me, so I should be pretty secure. A very strong run from the Toa there, 137 is pretty insane time. 3rd place overall. It's pretty happy about that. And we prevented Goose from being on the podium, so that's what Ace can do. And very strong runs from Angelo and Natoa. Those are crazy high scores for this type of lobby. That's with really no bad runs. So I had bad Sandstorm 1. I used place that bad, and that really hurts your points. And, just like even getting 11th on Mute City 4 is not bad, but, that does eat away your points. And then, that keeps happening during the rest of the GP because in these stacked lobbies, it's really tough to get top 10s. So you just get lower points than you would normally during the week when there's not as much competition. During the week, like people are scoring like 990s and 980s, and not in these. That it's a super rarity if that ever happens in one of these type of event lobbies. Not going over the tournament's results. So this was Masters Lounge number 2, and in first place, second place, and third place are Japanese names. So let's go actually look those up. So based on the translations here, it'd be first place would be Nashorn, second place would be Sayochi, that's even pronounced right in English, and then third place would be Runia-chan. Hope I even get the translations correct, but congratulations to the top 3 there. And then in fourth place, we have Rio, who is Natoa, and that's the Blue Falcon taking its first place. And then surrounded by more Wild Goose, and Misa, unfortunately, had a disconnect. See a 0 here, so sometimes, unfortunately, during an event, disconnects happen. And then, there's a variety happening here, more of a variety than happens in our other events. I think it's because of just the way this is formatted with, it was like 70 people. There's more chance for other machines to succeed. And depends on who's joining, like the player base changes and people use different machines. But I mean, in general, Natoa and Oliver aren't Goose players. Natoa generally plays Falcon. He's done a lot of Fox on the events. And, just when it's up to 8 GPs, and if you're playing Falcon or Fox, surviving is near impossible. So that's why Goose usually just wins by surviving. And then, of course, Oliver being the top Stingray, Dorshma is the top Golden Fox. And then let's look a little further down because I didn't finish it, and you can see there's someone who is excelling with Fox here. So Mr. Angelo, he plays the steer assist Fox and is crazy good with it. He's Mr. Steer Assist. So there's a 922 and a 952 with Fox there. So insanely high scores in this type of event, and somehow lower scores with Wild Goose. And he's also a really good Goose player, but his ability with Golden Fox is unprecedented. And I quit after 4, so I had decent results with it. I didn't have like above 900, but just getting upper 800s, and if you consistently do that, you could still win this event. So I was overall, I guess, satisfied. I would have changed some things. Some things out of control, but like the Red Canyon 2 way I played that, like I was saying, like I'm not sure that's just even a viable strategy, especially if you're not Goose. You just got to get out of that first lap, and sandbagging, you lose too much time. So that's unfortunately, that's where the points dip off. And then if you do that, like you lose so much points because you lose the points for that race, and then you lose, then you don't get the next race. So it's just like you can't be doing that. Losing because your sandbag didn't work is, really a disappointing outcome. So I need to learn from those things. And, sometimes I got lucky. Like that time I was in 36th, and still I got through the lap. So you never know in these events. It's like within milliseconds, it could be life or death. So I feel like I played fairly well overall, and I don't even think like the net code was that bad for Falcon. I had some spark troubles, but like there are some times when I play in lobbies and just like, it's just noticeably just nothing seems to be flowing right. Like, all the grays just, like, vanish out of nowhere. Just like it feels like you're in quicksand and every hit sends you backwards. That really wasn't happening to me that bad. So I felt like even a blue falcon, like I had a fair races where I can't really blame that code, and really I got the advantage of it, crossing that line that one time. So um, I think that's more of an element too of how many racers there are and stuff like that. Because usually it'd be like in these main events where it'd be like the 99 players, Mute City, and then the second track are just like absolutely horrific in those crowds. And with those thinned out, like even though I still did bad Mute City, unfortunately, it was just I was a little my timing and sync of the sparks was just off, but it wasn't as bad as it would be if there was 99 players. So I like this event a lot, and 70 players is a really good mark to hit. It was really fun with that amount of players, and it's hold at certain time zones. I can't expect anyone to not play in their favorable time zone. I mean, it's just a problem. I can't stay awake till 2 a.m. That's just too late for me, unless it's somehow like like sleep in the afternoon or something. But I was just happy playing 4 races and coming in a third place with Angelo and Natoa on ace was a good victory there to go out on.